Hey everyone, this is Adam Niedens for Lions usd405. Today we're going to be taking a look at our internal and external methods of communication for what we do here in usd405. First, let's start off by kind of taking a look at what we were assigned to do here. We were to create a chart and kind of explain what the internal and external communications were, who's involved in both the internal communications and the external communications, and then how we communicate with those subgroups of those communication topics. I chose Creately to do this assignment mainly because I had never used that before. I had used a couple of the other ones already before, so I was feeling ambitious, I guess, and decided to try something new. However, I found this site difficult to use, difficult to maneuver the text around and change the font sizes. Things like that seemed rather difficult. It was hard to upload different things onto here. Maybe it was just the template and the format that I chose, but I thought some of the other ones I had used in the past were a little bit easier to maneuver around on the page and things like that. I was constantly seeming to either have to scroll up or down or zoom in and out so I could change fonts and text and different things like that. So probably going forward, if I had the choice, I probably wouldn't use Creately. That's just my opinion, though. I found a couple of those other ones on that list to be easier to use in the past. So moving forward here, we have our two publics. Our internal would be communication within the school building. That's stuff that I deem to be staying inside the school. Our external would be the communication with our stakeholders outside of the school building. So let's go ahead and take a look at how those kind of coexist. How I would see these are, you have to have your internal communications in order so you are able to go out and have the external communications be successful. If you're not going to be successful with your internal communications and you have problems with that, there's no way those people in the external area with your community members and other organizations are going to want to be involved with your communication tactics if they're not any good. So let's take a look at internal communications. At the top of the chart, in the upper left-hand corner, we have them listed: administration, staff, students, and the BOE, or the Board of Education. And then I move my chart to the right, staying at the top right corner there. I'm going to slide directly from administration on over to how I communicate, or how we communicate in USD 405 with administration. More times than not, we're going to do a face-to-face conversation with administrations if there's any issues with one teacher to the principal, things like that. Those are going to be face-to-face conversations. Staff meetings are always a time where anything can get shared, and then emails back and forth as well. Staff would be our teachers, our custodians, our cafeteria food service people, any of those people that are working within the building, nurses, those type of people. So any of those could be face-to-face conversations. Email would probably be the more beneficial one to reach the wider group, the whole entire school at one time. And then I would put down collaborations, because I think teachers do that a lot, especially within grade level and things like that, to communicate with each other. Students, our internal communication with our students would be more times than not face-to-face, obviously, in the classroom. I did put Zoom and Seesaw on there. Those are a couple things that I found during this pandemic that we were needing to use more often. You can also, I just put Seesaw because that's what I used. I know Google Classrooms is a hot one too, so there's other ways to do that. And then email as well. A lot of times those will be more for middle school and high school students. The Board of Education, email and phone conversations would be one way, or at the board meetings, it's open to the public, so anybody can really go in and have face-to-face meetings and bring up different topics at those as well. Go down to the bottom in the left, we're going to look at our external communications. We have parents, community members, business partners, and organizations. So let's start with parents, and we're going to slide over to the right again. Communication with parents, I would say more times than not, are going to be face-to-face, phone, and email type conversations. Email is a good one for teachers to get back and forth with parents without having to interrupt so much during the day and things like that. So that's a good one to use. Parent-teacher conference is always a time where you're able to have those face-to-face conversations and check in with parents. Social media kind of keeps them updated. And again, I put Seesaw on there. It could be Google Classroom or other things like that to kind of keep parents in the loop. So we have all that stuff. Community members, we have our district website that they could get on, and social media things are real big with our school district. You have Facebook, Twitter, different things like that anybody would be able to get on and see what's happening in USD 405. We do have YouTube channels as well, so that's something that gets updated every once in a while of different projects and things that the school has been working on, as well as the Lions newspaper, which is twice a week. So sometimes things get put in there as well. Business partners. Lions is kind of a smaller town, so this business partners is a good one for us to be involved with. More times than not, when you're trying to involve these business partners, you're going to have a phone call with them or a face-to-face interaction with them. Sometimes it's just going to their business and seeing how they can help or how we can get them invested in what we're doing. Email and social media is always a good way to back things up as well. Businesses want to get their name out there as well, and I don't blame them. So social media is a good way to tell them thank you and get a little free advertisement for them too, to kind of keep them invested and involved in what we're doing. Organizations in Lions, you can go through things like churches and 4-H. The rec center has different programs, so there's all kinds of different activities and things like that for quote unquote organizations that we have. The way we interact with them would be more through email, phone calls, face to face, and again, there's going to be the social media aspect for them to get involved as well. Usually with our organizations, it's more email and phone calls. They'll send a letter in, maybe have us send it home with the kids to have them sign up for rec center activities, or to let them know that a certain church is having a Wednesday after school program thing going on like that. So a lot of times it's letters given to us at the school to send home with the kids to try to get them involved in those. I would say Lions' strength would be our communication with our students. I think our teachers do an awesome job of communicating on a daily basis with our students. And I would say externally, I would say we do a very good job of getting out to our businesses and organizations, clubs, that kind of stuff, to try to give our kids, our students, as many opportunities as possible after school, during school, all those different things. Some weaknesses I would say that we would maybe need to look at would maybe be our communication internally within staff. So sometimes it kind of seems like maybe not everybody's on the same page. So that's something, collaborate as a whole group, collaborate as grade levels, have different subgroups of how our staff can communicate with each other. I think we need to do a better job at that. Externally, I think we can reach out to our community members and our parents a little bit more and let them know what's going on in USD 405. What are the kids up to? What kind of projects are they involved in? Who's doing really well with theater or debate, or who's excelling in sports and different things like that? Just getting the word out to our parents and our community members about what's happening. I would say this chart is going to support our student learning if we are able to go through step by step and hit all of these communication channels. It's obviously going to benefit our students in the long run as well as the short term, but definitely getting more people involved and more communication going is always a good thing for everybody involved. So that's our look at our internal and external communication for Lions USD 405. Thank you for your time.